All right, welcome in everyone to the Lowdown Sports Show. This show is brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Drew,
And I'm BJ.
and we're here to get the lowdown on all things basketball. Going around the association once again, Mr. BJ. A lot of
Oh,
topics
yeah.
to discuss. A fun-filled WNBA All-Star weekend with some not so bright spots within it, with some
Uh,
not so bright comments or uh, well-received comments from Commissioner
yeah.
Cathy Engelbert, and a lot of stuff happening in the NBA. Some buzz about player movement, NBA rule changes, play-in
Yeah.
tournament news, a
Oh,
bunch
man.
of things on tap, and some BJ's best what's on Drew's mind, and with it or quit it.
Of course, man.
Chock full, and our buddy Cam is in the house today. Shouts out to Cam
Woo.
coming through. All right, BJ, are you ready to rock?
I'm ready, Drew. Let's do it because I got to do it now or it's going to be a couple weeks before I can do it again, man. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. VJ got a vacation on the horizon. We will have a guest host in next week, so be on the lookout for that. Very special guest coming in to
Indeed,
fill in for
indeed.
Mr. BJ. So we'll still have his segment, but it'll be fill in the blanks best
I
next
like
week.
that.
But
I
let's
like
get
that.
it going, ladies and gentlemen. Topic number one, kicking it off today. We always start off with the NBA side of things, and a lot of NBA news, as I mentioned. But let's just start off with some of the rule changes that are going to be going down. Uh, BJ, you're familiar with the take foul, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody is. You watch a little basketball, you know what's going on. Well, NBA is trying to make it a little bit more of a harsh penalty now for committing this take foul. NBA's
Hmm.
Board of Governors chose on Tuesday to leave them. Say goodbye this coming season to those anticlimactic clock stopping, not at all scintillating plays, or at least expect to see far fewer with this rule change that dials up the penalty when a defender intentionally commits a transition take foul to thwart his opponent's breakout opportunity. The board's meetings wrapped up essentially at the midpoint of the NBA 2K23 Summer League, and Adam Silver shared some numbers touting its success as a combo of basketball development, entertainment, attraction, and unofficial league meetings. I'm over here reading summer league stuff. Shame on me. Trying to find it now.
I
Goodness.
was about to say I've got this from the Associated Press, Drew. It
Go
says
ahead.
yeah, the
Reading the wrong
NBA
stuff.
has
Oh, I
completed the
found it now.
process of changing the transition take foul rule.
Yeah, I
So,
see
as
it
you
now.
said, ending years of discussion about what to do with the long maligned tactic. The
Hey.
league's board of governors finalized the matter Tuesday,
Yeah.
approving a plan to award one free throw when teams are disadvantaged by the take foul. Silver said, quote, generally it was upbeat coming out of our meeting. People are thrilled that as we head into next season, it looks like we'll be on our normal track in terms of when the season starts, in terms of our protocols around the game, particularly around the health and safety of our players. What that has to do with the take foul, I'm not sure, but that's just where the quote happened to be. It wasn't a surprise that the league changed the penalty on take foul. Silver told the Associated Press in early June that it would change, though he cautioned that the new rule might still be tweaked in future years. So obviously, Drew, you and I are familiar with it, but in case you're not, the take foul is when a defender does not make a play on the ball. So that's what they classify as one that occurs either during a transition scoring opportunity or immediately following a change of possession before the offensive team has had the opportunity to advance the ball. Exception is in the final 2 minutes of the fourth or in overtime. The new penalty for such a foul is one free throw, which may be attempted by any player on the offended team in the game at the time the foul was committed and continued possession. So this sounds to me, Drew, like they're going to try to, crack down on the flops and the charges and everything like that in transition.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. And I don't know which way I want to lean on it. Um, I found some clarifications on it as well. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you said this, so if you did, stop me. In the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, the last 2 minutes of any overtime period, the heightened penalty will not apply. The defensive team still will be able to foul either to stop the clock in an attempted comeback or to prevent the offensive team from generating a 3-point attempt. The take foul penalty will not apply if the offensive player is fouled in the act of shooting, in which case it will be treated as in the past. So just some
Now
extra.
that sounds like some added clarification that we needed, so that's good to know.
Yes. Um, I don't really have a whole bunch of bones about it.
No,
At all. It's just just kind of some news that we got to throw in here.
cleaning it up for the first 46 minutes of the game, essentially.
Yeah, and then after that, we like I said, it's going to be treated in the same way as it has in the
Hmm.
past. If the offensive player is found in the act of shooting. So,
Yeah.
but the bigger thing here, BJ, is in not we're not going to count that part earlier. We're going to pretend that
Yeah.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
But the play-in tournament is apparently here to stay, BJ,
Oh
and
gosh.
I've been vocal about the play-in.
I think we both have, Drew.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know. We've been pretty vocal, but
yeah.
it's apparently not going anywhere.
Well, we talked about this. They want a, kind of a single elimination style thing that, people like March Madness and the one and dones in college basketball. NBA wants something similar. This isn't it. This is not it
No, this is
because
not it.
I mean, here's what I'll say. I think this would be the best way to fix it. This will never happen, but this is my idea, all right? This is my idea of a play-in tournament.
All right.
You're going to have, teams that are going to have, bad luck with injuries. You're going to have teams that don't start to get clicking until after the All-Star break. They're going to
Dallas
be
Mavericks.
tanking. They're going to be bad. But do you not think that the way the Detroit Pistons finished off last season, would you want to reward their play and how close they were even against some of the best teams with an opportunity to make a playoff spot? I'm talking the 1 through 7 teams in each conference are in. They can sit back and watch the festivities because 8 through 15 will go through a single elimination bracket. Whoever is left standing gets that eighth and final playoff spot. And to desensitize, well, not desensitize, but to incentivize the tanking teams to give it their all and, maybe get some of these young stars on these young teams that aren't going to be seen a whole lot nationally, some exposure, maybe some, time in the playoffs potentially. We liked seeing a New Orleans come up and be a playoff team this year because, they were ninth and they were able to win twice and get into the playoffs. Who's to say that we don't want to see, Josh Giddey and Chet Holmgren in the playoffs next year? Giving Oklahoma City an opportunity to do that might be the best thing that the NBA could do with this play-in tournament. But, to make sure that they would actually participate, I say, regardless of regular season record, your draft odds stay the same and you get a chance to play for a playoff spot. It won't affect your chances of where you end up in the lottery or anything like that. And we get to actually, because, I was talking about this with my brother the other night. Could you tell me that there was a mid-February game between Oklahoma City and whoever they played that was a meaningful professional basketball game? Because I couldn't. This would change that. This would rectify that and give a reason to watch those last place teams still, even though it's not been their year. They can still make the playoffs and they still get to help themselves build up and become a contender in the years to come. That's what I
And
would do with the play-in tournament. I know they won't, but that's my idea.
I don't know about all that because this Pistons team this year was kind of an outlier. You usually don't have, those
Mm-hmm.
bottom feeders,
Yeah.
giving you any type of surprise wins or
No.
like staying in contention with anybody. They stay true to who they are and they get blown out all the time.
Yeah.
And once in a while they'll play somebody close who's having an off night, but it's not gonna. I don't know if it would satisfy. I mean, cool. Like, maybe you get that scenario where the OKC Thunder, if they're completely healthy, SGA, Giddy,
Mm-hmm.
Holmgren, and all those boys,
Yeah.
they happen to get past a team that is meant to be playoff bound, but these young bucks just play their butts off and make it into the playoffs. But then they get swept or something. Is it
Well,
still fulfilling when those guys get there because you get to see them get swept in the playoffs, and
I don't know.
maybe
I
they
don't know.
get just blown out
I
too,
don't know.
because
I don't
like
know if they get swept. I mean, we saw the Pelicans
the,
come
the
and make a dog of fight against the Suns. Obviously, Booker was out for a couple games, and that kind of
Well,
changed things. But you never know what's going to happen.
the Pelicans are also kind of an outlier. I mean,
I
look
know,
at all
I
the
know.
talent
I
out
I
there.
agree. I know. I'm just
And
saying, like, we're talking about teams this year. The Lakers could have still made the playoffs. I don't know if necessarily we
gross.
want a world where that could have happened, but obviously the
No.
LeBron fans want another chance to see
See, and,
LeBron in
and
the
you're
playoffs.
and you're missing. We don't know if we want a world where that would happen. If we don't want to see the Lakers, like we don't want to see the bottom feeders. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But
I, I, I
I
get
get
what
it
you
as a
mean.
way to spice it up
Yeah.
and try something different.
This
It's
is
just I
this
just wish
is
they'd get rid of it. That's the clear
this
answer here.
is
Just
yeah.
get it
I
gone.
agree. I think they should, but they won't. They've
Earn
made
it.
their it perfectly clear they're not going to anytime soon.
Totally.
This would be a good way to get some excitement in it because you look at the NCAA tournament, Drew. You don't see the Cinderella get past the first couple rounds for the most part. We saw one Cinderella team this year finally make it to the Elite Eight, and in the NBA, when you have each conference the 8 through 15, that's Elite Eight essentially. You got to win 3 games.
Hmm.
I think that the talent level, whoever is the best team, would be able to win those 3 games and make the playoffs. I don't think you necessarily see as many Cinderellas come along, but it would sure be interesting to watch and see if a Cinderella could emerge and how they could do in the postseason, and if somebody treats them lightly because they came out of nowhere to get that final spot.
And you mentioned about players being injured earlier. You could have one of those scenarios where, let's just say, maybe the Clippers even,
Mm-hmm.
but like Clippers, let's just pretend they had a worse record. Let's pretend they had the Lakers record
Yeah.
and like their bottom feeders kind of almost essentially. But
Mm-hmm.
then like you might or might not get Kawhi back to go into the playoffs. Does that
Yeah.
encourage Kawhi to come back?
Yes, I think
And
so.
make it make something interesting for an 8 upsetting a 1 possibly if it worked out like that.
Can you tell
Um,
me that they would not have wanted him to be back and have that opportunity to try to still win a title? Because Kawhi, that kind of a generate not generational, but that kind of talent being out there on the court, I think he deserves. If he comes back and is playing like the Kawhi of old, that
See,
that could be interesting.
the question on that is though, I think ultimately what the Clippers did this year was the right decision in
I
letting him try to come back.
I agree.
Um, and having him fully healthy and retool that Clipper team for next year. I mean, like John Wall quoted it and said, the third best defender has to guard him.
Yeah,
I mean, let's assume he's 80% back to what he was, and what he was at his peak was a good All-Star,
yeah,
a good solid All-Star in the Eastern Conference. Um, you know, this 80% of that is a really good basketball player. I mean,
yeah,
let's just say that
yeah.
that's a Jalen Brunson at least.
Hmm.
The third best defender has to go out and guard somebody at the level of a Jalen Brunson. How's that going to work out?
Yeah,
And if
not
Wall
well.
and if Wall is nice and springy, I mean he had a whole year off to get
Yeah.
right. If he's not right now and not at least at the 80% mark I'm talking about, then the Clippers just wasted their time and just give Reggie Jackson the ball.
I would
And
say that, yeah, having them and resting them for and to get right for this season is something that we'll only see because of how the past couple of years with the shutdown and then the resumption in the bubble and then having to delay the next season. And I think we're finally kind of caught up. I don't think, obviously knock on wood because anything can happen, but I don't think that we're going to see that again anytime soon. I'm hoping we don't see that again anytime soon. I'm hoping that even if something does happen, Lord forbid, we don't have a shutdown or whatever. They just go ahead and keep playing in front of the empty crowds or whatever, even though it's not the same. I think that what we saw, I don't think they want to make that mistake again. I don't think they would ever, shut down a season again. And so I don't think that you'd be risking, you know, somebody coming back too soon in this case. I think we'll have a normal season. So if a player gets injured earlier in the season and the normal timetable would allow them to return for the playoffs, that's perfectly fine. If they get injured, later in the season, then I don't think they should rush coming back for this. And they still probably be kept out for going into the next season. I don't
so
think that would change it necessarily that much.
so like let's pretend our Mavs are in the scenario
Hmm.
and they're kind of bottom feeders, but Luca is on the borderline of coming back. Do you bring back Luca because you know what you are with Luca, and we just made a crazy run out of nowhere.
Hmm.
Nobody expected us to run. We could do it again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you want to bring him back and risk that, or do you want your future to rest up for next year and you try and go with a good draft pick or something?
See, now I think I remember us having this conversation a couple months ago when the NBA playoffs started, and we both wanted to be as cautious as ever with Luca. Thankfully the Mavs didn't listen to us.
Yeah.
Because Luca missed a couple games, but we wouldn't have had that run. I think depending upon how your athlete is, and obviously we're not privy to anything going on injury wise, you and I are not, so we can speculate and sit here and talk all we want, but at the end of the day, the best player in the world in basketball, in my opinion at least, and a lot of people's, needs to be out there on the court if you want to have a shot. And I think that at the end of the day, what are you playing these games for if not to go out there and win a title? Why else would you play if it's meaningless? If you
And
can keep your draft lottery odds the same and still have a chance to go out and win a title, why wouldn't you?
one person that wouldn't be is would encourage you to go out there and play some basketball because he's tired of people resting and asking for trades and whatnot. That's Mr. Commissioner Adam Silver.
Yeah.
He's more than once in media sessions over the years he's brought up that, well, I mean, the contract in trades and things like that coming up,
Hmm.
just the players, and like came up again recently in the wake of KD
Yeah.
asking to be traded from the Nets. And Silver's over here not happy about this. He's saying, quote, "No one has suggested to me that Kevin Durant has said he's not willing to live up to the terms of his contract. So to say you would like to play in another city is one thing. To say I'm not going to appear for training camp or certainly games would potentially be a violation of his contract." As us, he's being in my opinion, he's just being a baby here about this.
Well,
Just players
it,
asking for trades, like, and the rest situation. I wanted to kind of put this in a certain light because I know there's been different controversies about it over the years, and
mhm.
the resting of players and things like that. But just kind of think
Called
about it.
load management now.
Yeah, good old load management. Think about, I kind of tried to think about this in my perspective. Like, what if I couldn't have, you know, a day off, when I
Yeah.
need it, a good break, like a vacation day even. But
Yeah.
which is essentially kind of what load management is for an NBA player. They get a vacation day, but they show up to
Yeah.
work, but they still get paid, right?
Yeah.
So
It's basically
it's a
just paid
it's
time
paid,
off.
paid time off, and it's beneficial to the team, at the end of the day. But like, just what if you didn't have paid time off? Like, if you're a
Yeah.
full time employee, you got Fourth of July. I mean, you're off because nobody's working, everybody else is off, but they get paid and you don't. How do you feel
Yeah.
about that? I mean, it's not gonna feel
Not
great.
good.
Be
No.
sad. Or
Or
if you're a
people
part
that have to
timer,
work. Yeah.
yeah, part timer, you don't get it off anyway.
Yeah.
So I try to think about it in that light, but I get it when fans travel from across the country to watch Luca and you want to rest him for the night. But I
Yeah.
mean, those are just kind of bad timing things,
Yeah.
and it's just unfortunate that you picked that game. Like, you didn't come earlier this season. It's the only time of year you could have came. He
Yeah.
just happened to get injured 3 games ago, and he's not healthy enough to play.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do about that? Or if, Kawhi situations come up to where he never plays, 70 plus games a season,
Yeah.
or whatever his average is nowadays, probably 55 or
I
something like
mean,
that,
that's
55,
something
60.
that you just expect as an NBA fan, though. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
it's nothing you
nowadays
can
you
do
have
about it.
to, right? Like, you
Yeah.
got to expect that people are going to be going through some load management. It's been happening for nearly 10 years.
Yeah.
So
I
you just
found
have
this
to
interest. Go ahead. Sorry.
you just have to be aware, especially on big travel, that possibility is happening. If your team is 100% healthy, then you go in and you're like, I think we're good for 2 weeks from now to travel to LA to watch the LA Lakers and Russell Westbrook, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And then
Yeah.
if a freak accident happens 2 days before or the night you're on the way, that just happens. Or, I
Yeah.
mean, they roll an ankle but they can still play, but the next day or the next game they're doubtful, and that's the game you're showing up, or they're probable, questionable. It's just like, you kind of got to deal with
I
those
mean, that
odds
it just
sometimes.
happens.
And
It
then the
just happens.
Kawhi thing, if you want to watch that sucker in April and May and possibly June, you got to let his old butt rest, I guess, nowadays.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you ran him into the ground in San Antonio and his 1 year in Toronto.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, at the end of the day, it's you got to expect it nowadays. You got to
Yeah.
expect load management to happen.
Yeah, and I found this interesting what we were talking about with Adam Silver, and he mentioned about the Kevin Durant trade rumors and everything like that, and how it's become one of, if probably not the biggest story here in this NBA offseason. He said this needs to be a two-way street. Teams provide enormous security and guarantees to players, and the expectation in return is that they'll meet their end of the bargain. Always
Mhm.
conversations that go on behind closed doors between players and representatives and teams, but we don't like to see players requesting trades, and we don't like to see it playing out the way it is. I mean, that happens in every sport. I mean, it's something that's part of the business. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way the game is these days. And this was before we even saw some of the latest rumblings. I wonder what Silver would say if he heard or if he'd seen Woj's tweet that came out not too long ago. We saw a big trade with the Utah Jazz already. We talked about
Yeah.
a couple episodes ago, Rudy Gobert on the way out to
Yeah.
Minnesota. Now the Jazz are even interested in feeling, they'll listen to calls about Donovan Mitchell. So
Uh,
as opposed to trying to use some of those, first round picks that they acquired in that trade to, maybe get another player to tag along with Mitchell and kind of, maybe a younger version of Gobert, perhaps. It looks like Utah could be going ahead and, for better reference, pushing down and there goes the dynamite. Essentially, they're blowing
yeah.
it all up.
Rebuild mode.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's yeah, and you got to think about it, when crazy things like that are happening, epic free agency trades and big moves, big buzz about star players. Even Jalen Brunson created a great deal of buzz,
Yeah,
especially around here. That's impressions and people searching NBA. I mean,
yeah.
people are
Isn't
looking
that
up your
people
sport,
talking
looking in your
about it? What
sport.
you want?
Yeah, yeah, you're talking about your game, growing your game, sharing these blockbuster things on their Instagram, their Twitter.
Gives us
You know
something to talk about.
Literally, I mean, like we're making podcasts about your crap right now,
Hmm.
Like you
Yep.
want these things to continue to happen. Like
Right.
these are what makes the NBA what it is. Like these blockbuster. Hey, get me out of here. There's a tunnel in the locker room for the Clippers, and Chris Paul found it and they're going through it. The Rockets are and stuff. The drama, the epic things, the blockbuster trades, the crazy scenarios, stuff you didn't see
Yeah.
coming. That's
Wasn't
what
the
this is all
2019
about.
offseason is still one of the craziest I think we've ever seen in NBA history. And I
And
mean, we've gotten some pretty insane stuff since then, but nothing that's, kind of topped that. And I
and then
think that's
like
kind of where everybody got hooked. And it's like, why don't you want more of that?
and then take it back like 12 years. The decision LeBron wants out of Cleveland, his hometown place,
It became a
and
nationally
everybody's
televised
freaking
spectacle.
yeah, everybody's peeing themselves all summer. Where's LeBron gonna go? Is he gonna come to my favorite team? And then he's going to Miami. And I mean, that's just and everybody's sitting there on there, just like drooling over it, like where's he gonna go? Everybody's watching the decision. Everybody's watching. Most people who were basketball fans, especially LeBron James fans, were watching the decision. So I mean, it just
I'm gonna
creates
take my
buzz
talents
for
to
his
South Beach and
stinking
join the
league.
Miami Heat.
It just creates buzz for his stinking league. And the unfortunate part is somebody else I read within, looking at his comments today is how much the NBA, made
The
recently.
revenue, yeah.
Yes, Silver said the league surpassed 10 billion in revenue for the season that they just completed. Not
Wow.
only is that a record for the NBA, quote, it's quite remarkable from where we came in only 2.5 years ago when the future of this industry was in question in part because of the pandemic, he said.
Hmm.
Every
Yeah.
2022 playoff game, BJ, the commissioner added, was a sellout.
Look at that. I mean,
And
this is proving that the game is thriving, and I think a lot of people, especially like you said, compared to 2.5 years ago when there was question about what was going to happen, a lot of people were hungry to get back and have it get back to normal, and I think that may be why you saw that much increase.
I do want to also add that either these tickets were bought and trying to be, sold on resale by people, but I was at all those playoffs games for the Mavs, man, and I
Yeah.
know for a fact at least one of them games where it was kind of a ghost town, and I
What that
think it
Mother's
was, huh?
Was that the Mother's Day game?
Yeah, no, no, no,
Of his
no. One of the
sons?
ones before. Everybody knew it was gonna happen on Mother's Day. People showed
Yeah.
up to that one, but I think the one before that. I think the first one without Luca or something like that, or
Yeah.
the
Game one
second
against the
game.
Jazz.
The second game, I think we dropped the second game, or one of those, whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
One
We
of those
lost game
games, I
one.
remember, like I was looking around, like it seemed so dead in the crowd, and it seemed like you were lacking people. And that was, there were points because later in the series when the prices jacked up, those crazy Mavs fans that were there earlier when Brunson and them, were helping keep it tied up and stuff. Um, when the prices go up, they can't show up for a
Yeah.
game 5 and things like that. So
Yeah.
I think that was when it was where it's like, was it a sellout? But if they did, it's probably a resale situation. You even
I
had
bet.
that at the WNBA All-Star game where nearly 1,000 seats were, left available. They had like 9,300 capacity, or 9,300 people at Wintrust, and it capacities at like 10,100 something maybe.
Yeah.
So like those, then they said like it was packed or whatever. So, um, but yeah, you get the point.
Yeah.
Um, but still a remarkable $10 billion. So they
Yeah.
really, he's got a lot of faith in this play-in, and that's why they're buying into it for the future.
Yeah.
And we're not for it, whatever. But I mean, we're just gonna have to keep going with it. We're gonna have to keep rolling with them. Like Adam Silver's got to roll with these trade requests that are gonna happen every stinking year, and he can't do nothing about it.
So about to
So
say, if you want to keep getting that amount of money every year, then you don't need to be talking about you know people wanting to know like where's KD gonna go? Is Kyrie gonna go with him? Like that's good for the game, even though you might not think it is. I think
yeah.
the more people that you get talking about it, that's gonna get you more money.
Like you need coverage, Joe. Like you want these crazy stories. Like if they weren't
Yeah,
coming out, it'd be such a boring off season.
yeah.
Like you wouldn't create any buzz. Like people would just be like, "Well, no free agency news.
The NFL
Maybe
has
we'll find out about
capitalized on
stuff later."
for a while now. They've had the year long season because they've made an event of free agency, all the trades that happened, the draft, even the freaking schedule release. Drew, even the schedule release, it's its own thing now. As you see with Cam talking about his NFL team there. But yeah, I mean, this is good for the game. More buzz equals more revenue.
Yes, indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for BJ's best.
All right, Drew. I'm glad you brought that up. I know we talked last week during What's on Drew's Mind about something near and dear to both of us. And
Oh man,
oh man, Better Call Saul returned on Monday. And
we can't
whew,
talk too much about it.
I'm not going to talk about the episode, but I don't know if you saw this. I'm hoping you didn't because I kind of want to be the one to break the news to you. I have an update from what we were talking about just last week. The injustice has been corrected. It's long overdue, but Rhea Seehorn has been nominated
I
for
did.
Best
I did.
Outstanding Supporting Actress
Yes.
for her
Yeah.
work on Better Call Saul. So that has been fixed now here in the final season. It was a long time coming, but now we just have to wait and see for her. Hopefully, she will be able to win that. I believe the Emmys are going to be Monday, September the 12th. Drew.
Man,
Uh,
shouts out to Seahorn, yo. Like, it's
yes.
so baffling to think that just now she got a
Yeah.
nomination.
Yeah.
She's
I
so
mean, just
good,
her
and we
work in
still,
this whole season has been phenomenal, Drew.
dude.
Especially in the most recent episode, which I won't talk about. She didn't have as much of a role as you would think, but I
Well,
mean,
I mean, she was kind of pivotal. I mean, if she wasn't there, I
true.
mean, like,
It's true. I'm just saying when you think about like just screen time for the remaining characters that we won't
yeah.
mention, it just it kind of makes her and Saul and Bob Odenkirk's they didn't have as much screen time. I
Heck, you
think
saw you saw Kim more than you saw Jimmy.
Yeah, I think this may have been the episode that he had his heart attack when they were filming. I can't remember. I think that's why they kind of had to split it up the way they did because that's right around when they were filming this episode, and so that may be why you didn't see them as much because he was you know in the hospital recovering everything, and so they kind of had to restructure and rework. But it was phenomenal, even still.
Mm-hmm.
So, on that note, I don't know if you saw this, Drew, but I saw
Maybe.
this and I just had to include it as part of my best for this week. Uh, Albuquerque is apparently going to have two new statues, Drew. Do you know
Oh, I did
who
not. I
they're
did not
getting
see
some
this.
statues of?
I did not see this. I do not. I do not.
They are going to be erecting statues of Walter White and Jesse Pinkman. Apparently, this is just because of how
Really?
much business the franchise has how much they filmed there and how much they've meant to the state of New Mexico and the city of Albuquerque. It's described as what is likely the first ever municipal statues honoring meth manufacturers. I thought that was funny.
That's
Obviously fictional, of course, but
yeah.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and this article is being finicky. Hold on. What I understood it to be is that the statues were commissioned by Vince Gilligan from a sculptor in 2019, and he is donating them to the city as along with Sony Pictures Television, who produced both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Gilligan said, over the course of 15 years, 2 TV shows, and a movie, Albuquerque has been wonderful to us. I wanted to return the favor and give something back. These larger than life bronzes of Walter White and Jesse Pinkman exist thanks to the generosity of Sony Pictures Television and the artistry of sculptor Trevor Grove, and I love them. It makes me happy to picture them gracing the Duke City for decades to come, attracting busloads of tourists. Now, Drew, I don't know if you pay attention to a lot of the Reddit and everything like that for Breaking Bad.
Man, I
Every
wish I
anytime
understood
somebody is
Reddit.
yeah, anytime somebody is visiting Albuquerque, they pretty much it's like one of their prime destinations. They have to go and visit the house that was Walter White's. They have to get a
Heck
picture
yeah.
there. And the funny thing is that is actually somebody's house. Like
Yeah.
they had to put up a fence and everything, and you can't get within a certain like you have to take a picture certain distance back because I mean it's in the middle of a neighborhood. So
I wonder how those people in the house are just like, what, why are people taking a picture of my
I
house?
mean, they they
Just have
they
no
probably had
clue.
to get used to it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been going on for years now.
I wonder how long it took them to actually like figure out why people were taking pictures of the house if they hadn't seen the show prior. If they saw the show prior and still moved in, they did that to themselves.
I think what it was is I'm not sure because I don't remember if they've ever done an interview or anything like that. I think the same people that own the house when they were asked if they could be filming
Oh,
at
it's the
certain
same
point.
people?
I think so.
Really?
So I think that's the case, but I'm not again I 100%
Oh,
sure.
wow.
So they would have to know because they were the ones that allowed the filming to go on. But
What a take in the chat here. Hold on.
all right, well,
Cam
let's see.
says, Heck to the yeah.
Ooh,
Jesse Pinkman is the
wow.
best character in TV history. You won't change my mind.
Are you
Whoa.
gonna hit him with the wrong?
Oh
Oh, okay. I thought
yeah.
you were gonna pull a Jesse Pinkman line for a second there or something.
I won't do it. I won't do it to him.
Okay. All right. Anyway, the statues are going to be displayed inside the Albuquerque Convention Center. They'll be revealed July 29th. Apparently, the Breaking Bad producers and co-creators and Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul will be there
Oh, nice.
uh, when the statues are revealed. So I thought that was good. And then I got one other story that made it onto BJ's best this week, Drew.
Okay.
Um, I saw this and I thought, I saw it last week and I thought about mentioning it last week and then I decided against that. I said I'm going to save it for this week. So, Drew, we've all been there. You've been driving in the car, you're heading somewhere, and maybe you're not paying attention, maybe you're distracted or something, and you end up taking the wrong turn, right?
Oh, the way you started this off, it was like the dude that was trying to get you to go to college and had the hat on. Your life is passing you by. You just keep procrastinating over and over. That's the way it sounded to me. That was hilarious.
Well, that's not what I was intending, but you've been there before, right? You've made a
Yeah.
wrong turn or
Oh
whatnot,
yeah, for
right?
sure.
Okay, I thought so. I've been there. Well, this is a case where a wrong turn might have actually been the right turn. A Michigan woman said a wrong turn led to her winning a $500,000 lottery prize, although she was unaware she had actually won the jackpot for 3 months. So, this is a 61-year-old woman who told Michigan lottery officials she had intended to pick up some scratch off tickets from her preferred store, but she had been misguided by a navigational error, and so she had to change her plans. She said, I always purchase my tickets from the same store, was planning on stopping there on my way home to get a cash word ticket. I accidentally made a wrong turn and had to take a different route home, so I stopped at a gas station along that route. So she said, when I got home, I scratched the ticket off and thought I won $1,000. I was going to use the money toward a trip I had coming up in a few months, so I decided to put the ticket away and cash it when the trip got closer. She said it was 3 months before she realized her ticket was worth far more than $1,000. When the lottery told her that she was the $500,000 winner, she could not believe it. She said that her prize money is going to go toward paying off her house and saving for retirement now, Drew. So
How do you make that mistake?
well, I mean,
Is
I
it a
don't
scratch
know.
off?
So yeah, it was a scratch off, and I guess she got
She must have missed a multiplier or something,
yeah,
right?
it's something like so they said it
Or
was
l-
cash word. Um,
I haven't played
so
cash
I
word,
don't know
so I
how to
wouldn't
play
know.
cash word. I thought that it was just
Okay.
like you scratch off the letters and like you have to if it fits in the crossword puzzle or whatever, then you're a winner. And if you win like a certain amount of words or I don't know, I could be
I
wrong.
think like she probably like some of those have like if you scratch off a 50x, that's times whatever your winnings are, and
Times
she had a
50.
$1,000. I
So
mean,
she
well,
might have actually thought that it was a 10, or it might have actually been a 10,000, but she had a 50x multiplier or something maybe.
yeah, or she just I don't know, maybe she didn't scratch something off. I have no
Yeah,
idea, but that's crazy.
you know,
That's
I've
pretty wild.
I used to back in the day. I don't do it anymore. I used to get some scratchers every now and again.
I
I
used
had
to.
that little Texas Lottery app thing on my phone.
Oh, I
I
was not
found
that
that
deep.
just the handy dandy little thing to do was to scratch at the bottom of it and scan the barcode of that
Yeah.
with your phone, and it would tell you if you won anything or if you were the big winner or whatnot. So that way you don't get confused by it.
Yeah, I didn't know there was an app for that. I used to always, whenever I scratch it off, just take it into a gas station and check it
Yeah,
there. I
there
didn't know
there
there's
may
an
not
app
have
that would
been,
be.
but there is now certainly.
Heck yeah. Well, shoot.
So yeah,
Big money.
big time, and don't if ever there was a wrong turn that you thought you made, maybe it ends up being the right turn.
Okay.
Whoever's out there, looking out for people in this world or whatnot, made sure she needed to be where she needed to be to get that winning ticket. So
That's cool.
it's a heartwarming story, and
It
that's
is.
why it made BJ's best, Drew.
I'm down with it, brother. A good BJ's best today.
Well, thank you.
Nothing too action filled this time, but
No,
there's always action over at DraftKings Sportsbook. It never ends, BJ. Ever. Ever.
never, never, ever.
Ever, 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 ever,
There's
ever.
no off seasons there.
No off seasons. Especially this summer. It's hot outside. With tons of ways to bet on all your favorite sports, my favorite's basketball. You can fuel that fandom and feel the heat of the season like never before. Plus, right now at DraftKings Sportsbook, new customers like yourself can do a risk-free bet, win up to $1,000. That's right, make your first bet up to $1,000. And if it doesn't win, you'll get another shot to cash in.
That's right, Drew. As you just mentioned, you can throw down all the major action for sports like baseball, golf, MMA, more and more.
Like a
Obviously,
little
Drew,
golf.
we talked about, there's some summer league action. I think that's still going on for another week or so. We can get some NBA summer league action if you want to bet on that. MLB All-Star game is coming up, Drew. I mean, you saw some of the home run derby contestants that were announced. Albert Pujols may seem like a long shot, but don't count out the old man in his final
I'm going to
home
count him
run
out.
derby. Oh, okay. You can bet on some NASCAR events that are coming up over the weekend. The British Open, aka the Open Championship. I
Woo.
saw that Rory McIlroy is the favorite, but a lot of betting world siding with Tiger Woods. I can't
Oh,
say that I blame them, Drew, because anytime Tiger's at an event, it is must watch because you feel like he's always in it regardless. Anyway, so all those sports are available. And plus, when you have DraftKings same game parlays, spreads, money lines, over unders, and prop bets, those options just feel endless. Best of all, it is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit with DraftKings and withdraw your cash whenever you want.
download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code TBPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Drew, I ask it every week, or I have been since we started our news segments, and you always tell me there's a lot on your mind. But, Drew, what specifically has been rattling around in that old noggin of yours this week?
Oh, BJ, this week, and as we record on Wednesday for my listeners out there, um, BJ, like you said, there's a lot always on Drew's mind, and today we're gonna feed our stomachs with this one.
Ooh,
And today, BJ, this Wednesday, even though this comes out on Friday, but we're talking about this Wednesday stuff.
the 13th,
It
yeah.
is National French Fry Day. Did
Oh,
you know that?
I saw something about this earlier, Drew, but I've been trying to eat healthy, and I was like, no, no, get away, demon thought, get away,
Away, away with you,
please,
French fries.
please. I've worked so hard. Don't let me fall now, please.
Okay. Uh, so there's a list out right now on
Okay,
the top 20 ranked French fries.
all right. Is
And
this
I've got some
restaurants?
bones about this list. Yes, these are some bones, or these are these are some bones. These are some restaurants with, in some more specific French fries, because some places have two different brands, curly or
Okay, yeah.
regular,
Mm-hmm.
and Taco Bell, has the nacho or whatever.
All right,
Examples like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
Like
variety in here, but I've got some
chicken fries, I'm
bones.
sure might be in there somewhere.
There's a possibility, yeah. I
Okay,
got some
all right.
bones about this list though, BJ,
All
and
right. I'm ready to hear it because
I'll,
I may have some opinions too.
I'm gonna share my grievances, and we're gonna go in order from 20 to 1.
Okay,
Okay.
all
I was
right.
debating on whether I was gonna cut this in half, but I just couldn't do it. You
Yeah.
know. All right. So number 20 on this list, BJ, French fries at In-N-Out Burger coming in at number 20.
All right. So is that just because they only had like 20 types, or that was like number 20 out of like you can add in like local establishments or whatever?
Um, I don't. I haven't seen any local really establishments.
Mm-hmm.
There's some old places on this list that used to be around that you've seen before, but you don't see
Yeah.
them as often.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is just maybe
So
from what
major fast
over the
food
course of
essentially.
time. Yeah, major
Okay.
places. With the most known French fries and
All right.
over the years.
I'm all right with it being down at 20 then. It's very low on my list.
Yeah, I'm not even a big General In and Out fan, but
Yeah.
I can read the little dialogue they've got here. This is coming from Thrillist.
Okay.
If you live anywhere outside of West Coast states, it'll take you a while to catch on to the travesty that is In and Out Burgers fries. If you're wondering what the gold standard for cardboard-like fries is, look no further. Also, if you
No
order the fries
lies.
well done or animal style, as newbies who've heard this secret menu are wont to do, it can kind of mask their flaws, which are many. We've written about them at length here on
Yeah,
Thrillist.
I was gonna say if you
Yeah.
want to, you know, dress up bad fries, you can polish a turd; it'll still be a turd.
All right, so I'll be a little bit quicker through this list. Number
Okay,
19, Dairy Queen fries. Dairy Queen fries. I think Dairy Queen fries are pretty good,
they're
but
not
I
bad.
never, I,
No,
I never have them just straight up. I always buy nacho cheese to dip them in,
okay,
because, well,
interesting.
you know, to be honest, not every Dairy Queen is created equal.
Yeah,
Winsboro Dairy Queen's nacho cheese, or I'm trying to get that out. My hometown's Dairy Queen nacho cheese, delicious. The town I live in's Dairy Queen nacho cheese, not as great. So kind of hit and miss with your Dairy Queens there with the cheese, but the French fries, I think they're okay. There's some more. Cam said Whataburger with a dub over In-N-Out as a whole easily because In-N-Out is not very good. I said, ew, this is fake news already. Cam,
Yeah.
oh man,
Cam's got some bold takes. Obviously,
he's got some
he's a,
bones to
he's
pick.
a displaced Texan right now, so he
Yeah,
knows. He knows.
yeah, but they're not too bad. I prefer to
No.
dip them in the cheese though. Next up,
Yeah.
number 18, Sonic Drive-In. It's French fries. I think they're pretty average. So
Yeah.
it's well, I mean, I'm not gonna
If I
complain
get
about them
Sonic
being way
fries,
down
it's
here.
chili cheese fries.
Yeah, I don't even
It's kind
buy
of like
them.
dressing up with In and Out again.
I actually don't even buy the Sonic. I couldn't tell you the last time I bought Sonic fries. I'd rather get tater tots.
I'm boycotting Sonic until they bring back the chicken wrap. That's pretty much my same way with McDonald's too. Snack
Yeah,
wraps deserve justice, man. I'm
people
telling
love
you.
them wraps.
Hmm.
Number 17, Carl's Jr. and Hardee's.
I don't go
Or
there
I
enough
guess I
to
guess I got
really
flipped
know.
now. It says Hardee's and Carl's Jr.'s, but I think it's Carl's
It's
Jr.'s
it's
and Hardee's.
yeah, it's either or. It depends on where you live in the country.
Okay, I like Carl's Jr.'s and Hardee's better. Their natural cut French fries, making number 17 on this list. I've never had it. I actually recently
No,
heard there's one at a truck stop in my town today, so I might have to go test these bad boys out. And I heard their burgers were excellent. I got an excellent review on that today, so that's a different topic. But
that's what I always
uh,
hear is burgers are better,
that's
but I don't know anything about the fries.
natural French fries. Number 16, Popeye's Cajun fries. See,
Hmm.
this is our first one where we're getting specific with the type of
Okay.
French fry in here.
Yeah.
Popeyes Cajun fries. I don't think they're too bad. Like you said, Popeyes, just like Dairy Queens are not created equal, so you
Yeah.
could get some bad French fries out at a Popeyes. But
Yeah.
in general, they're not too bad. But they're pretty low down on this list. Number 15, Burger King's regular fries. Um, I, I think they're okay. I think they're kind of like
Yeah.
Dairy Queen's fries. They're in the same ballpark. I'd probably put Popeyes ahead of these, to be honest.
I mean, I'm not big on either Popeyes or Burger King. Just not in trying to be mean. I just don't go
No,
there enough to have an opinion.
no, fair enough, fair enough. But Burger King fries kind of mid, just like where they are on this list.
Yeah.
Next up, KFC, number 14, KFC secret recipe fries. I've never had French fries from KFC.
No,
If I'm at KFC's, I'm there to get chicken,
and mashed potatoes. If you have to get
Yes, and
potatoes at
that
KFC,
is
you don't get fries. You get
That is
mashed
just
potatoes.
that's the side you get at most chicken places anyway. Like who
Yeah.
goes and gets chicken and fries? Like you can get that all the time in a chicken
Yeah.
shrimp basket. Why would you want to do it again when
I
you
was
can
gonna
get
say
these delicious mashed potatoes?
if I'm on the go, I'll get
Oh,
fries as opposed to mashed potatoes, like just
God.
because it's easier. But no, KFC got to get the mashed potatoes no matter what.
See, look, Cam over here like
Hey,
KFC
yeah,
does fries. Like you don't even know. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not even
it's not
popular
well
like that.
advertised.
Yeah. Next up, number 13, White Castle with the French fries. They're kind of crinkle cut looking. Almost, I would just by the looks of them, kind of like a great value Brahms looking French fry here, and that's probably
Yeah,
why
White,
they're at
White Castle's
13.
not in this area to my knowledge.
No,
So
and I've never had it, so I can't really attest to them. But I think they want to be Brahms, but they just can't compare.
we'll just ask Harold and Kumar how they were.
Number 12, Culver's. Never had Culver's.
I have. I think
Oh,
this
okay.
is a bit low compared, but let
Ooh.
me hear the rest of the list and I'll reevaluate.
Okay. All right, next up, number 11, Raising Cane's crinkle cut fries.
Yeah,
I think
there's
they're
good
pretty
too.
consistent.
Yeah,
Sometimes, like some other things people complain about, they could probably be cooked a little more.
yeah,
but they're good. I
yeah.
mean, but if I was cooking them, I'm throwing there for another couple minutes and then take everything out.
By the
People
way,
say that
no
about the
no
chicken.
slaw extra toast if you go to Cane's. You'll thank me later.
Yes, exactly. Everyone do that, or get extra fries if you like their fries that much. But
Yeah,
I would get
yeah.
the toast. Number 10, we're in the top 10 now. Church's Chicken French fries.
I've heard good things. I don't know where the closest Church's Chicken is.
Brother, we're at another chicken place. I don't get fries at the chicken place. I'm
Yeah.
getting some mashed potatoes, or if
Ooh.
somebody's got some jalapeno poppers, maybe.
Yeah.
Seeing
Look
that.
at this.
Hot take: Cane's overrated. You hear that a lot from a lot of people, though. It,
See,
and it's
I
and it's those people that also think that chicken should go back in the oven. Those French fries should go back in the oven for a little bit longer.
I thought
That's the
Cane's
main grievance. That's
I
the
thought
really
Cane's
the
was
only grievance.
overrated at first when I had it, and then I had it again, and
You
maybe it
can't
was
be a
just like the
census.
different. It was maybe it was just the location I went to
Exactly.
first.
Not all canes are
Yeah,
created equal.
exactly. Yeah,
And I would give that same slack to me eating Chinese and Japanese food, but I've tried like 4 or 5 different places. So how many times am I going to keep trying these places and still not like it? I don't want to.
Yeah,
Too many times. But
too many times.
Cane's is good. It could go back in the oven another couple minutes, but I'd still eat it.
Yeah.
Church is underrated, Cam says. Okay, I believe that. Next up, a place you don't hear about often that I figured we're going to get to, BJ. It's the
Okay.
type of root beer. A&W.
Yeah. So what I remember is at least a few years ago, A&W used to be incorporated with Long John Silver's. You remember the name?
Yeah, I think so.
So if
Yeah.
they're talking about Long John Silver's fries, that's fine. You don't get enough of those locations anymore either to know what's the difference between A&W versus LJS. But those were some good fries, and the Hush Puppies too.
Spoiler alert: Long Johns did not make the list.
Well, I'll put them there because I don't see an A&W freestanding anymore.
Right. You don't see it anywhere. Like
No.
it's been out of the town that I live in for a while, so much so that there was a Quiznos right behind it, and now I don't even think there's anything in there anymore. Like it's been multiple things already.
Yeah.
The first thing it says here under the thing, A&W first in root beer, ninth in fries. Number 8, that place that Cam loves so much, Whataburger. Whataburger French fries right here.
Bit low.
The Whataburger.
Bit low.
I disagree. I think Whataburger, like Cam said about Cane's, is a little bit overrated.
Get out. Get out.
I like Whataburger. I think we've done this before.
Yes, we have.
I like it, but I think it is overrated. I think it is. I think it is. I think they're regular. The fries, they're regular. I think they want to be McDonald's, but they're not. And I can't get with it. I think they're too high, to be honest.
The fries, depending upon location, will vary. I will give you that. I do wish that they could be a little bit more consistent, but I'm overall.
I'm not reading that.
That's he basically has said that he is accusing Drew of being a Texan, but he's not, is what he's saying.
It's just not in my veins like it is in all of you. I like it. I literally only keep Whataburger spicy ketchup. That's it. I don't have anything else. There's no Hunts in my fridge. Ain't no Great Value in my fridge. It's Whataburger spicy ketchup. You understand me? Okay.
Drew, he's saying don't Cali his Texas.
Oh my gosh. All right. Take me to Cali.
Oh, good grief. Oh my goodness.
Man, I'm getting bullied by Cam here. Next, number 7, the previously mentioned Taco Bell nacho fries, which I'm actually kind of perplexed that they are this high up because they're so inconsistently made.
Yeah, it's like with any Taco Bell. It's going to be inconsistent regardless.
But they're good when they're made
when they're done well. They are good. Yes.
You dip them in that cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. That's why they have to like do them in phases because it's just like I don't even know. Don't clip that.
Can you recreate that on cue
nope.
or? Nope. I'm gonna have to clip that now.
But if they were consistent all the time, like people would be clamoring for nacho fries so much they would never be able to take them off the menu.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're kind of doing it right now. But
I was about to say they finally brought back the Mexican pizza. So
yeah, I think that is overrated as well. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be.
Taco Bell's not what it used to be in a lot of respects.
Especially in this town I'm in. All right, next up. This one's I don't like this place in general. Number 6, Arby's.
No.
Crinkle fries.
Oh, really?
The crinkle fries.
I would think that they wouldn't get the crinkle fries on there, but the curly fries. Are the curly fries on there too, maybe?
Guess we'll have to find out if we keep going here.
I guess we will, but I'm not a big Arby's fan, but their curly fries are actually pretty good.
Right. I've heard a lot about the curly fries as well. I haven't heard anything about these crinkles, but I don't go to Arby's. So
yeah, I don't either.
Number 5, top 5 now, BJ. I go to this place quite often now, and it's a little bit overpriced, but everything that I've eaten there has been delicious. Wendy's.
Yep.
Wendy's hot and crispy fries, man.
That should be higher, honestly.
Yes, it should. But there's stiff competition kind of at the top. But
Yeah,
I will accept a top five nod and be satisfied.
I
I
agree.
don't agree with the couple of things that are above it that we're about to get to, but
All right.
it is what it
Let's hear
is.
him. Let's hear him.
I've never had this place before, but these fries look good in this picture. Number four, Checkers slash Rallies.
I've heard of it, but I don't think
It's a
I've had
less
it.
they say it's a less heralded version of Carl's Jr.'s and Hardee's.
But
The
why
two
is Carl
names in
Jr.'s and
one.
Hardee's lower down then, if it's less heralded?
That's what I don't know, but the fries are apparently better. I don't
Okay,
know.
I
These fries
guess.
look really good. I mean, like I want to eat one right. I want to grab it off the screen and take a bite. Looks kind of good, but I've never had it, so I can't attest to it. But it's
Yeah,
number
I
four
don't
on
know.
this list,
I don't know.
and the way too high in my opinion. Number three on this list, BJ,
All
from Chick
right.
Fil A, the waffle fries.
I don't know because people's opinions of Chick-fil-A are you either really high on it or you don't like you think it's way overrated. I think it's good. I don't know if I'd say top 3. I'd say top 5, but I don't know
I
if I'd put it 3.
I think Chick Fil A in general is kind of overrated, and
No,
I don't
that's
get this delicious sensation going to eat a chicken sandwich from Chick Fil A that costs $10 to $11. Um,
mm,
and then the waffle fries are just so plain to me, and I don't see how an unseasoned mid French waffle fry can make a top three French fry list of all these and be
is
above the
it the only
Wendy's.
waffle
It,
fry?
it it's the only waffle fry on this list.
That may be why. I don't know.
But that's far too high though. And
I
it should be below Wendy's, below Taco Bell, below Whataburger, and have a fight with Raising Cane's, maybe.
I think I'd have Chick-fil-A still in my top 5, but I'd definitely be raising Wendy's, raising Whataburger, even Culver's. I'd raise Culver's up there as well. Let's
Well,
hear the
I don't
other two
I was
because
about to say, I don't know if you want to do all that raising with these
yeah,
top two here.
let's
Number two, BJ, McDonald's.
yeah, I was gonna say
The
they
French fry
have to
goat.
be up there because they're known for putting some kind of crack in that or something. I don't know. It's so good though.
Crack.
I don't
They
know if
took it
it's
out of the
crack,
Coca
but
Cola and put it in the McDonald's French fries.
oh,
The
you know what?
cocaine.
It's you.
But
You tell
it
me you
is
can't just have one of those French fries
it
though.
is no, you gotta when you get on the app back when I used to eat McDonald's and you see that large French fry for $1 deal, you buy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you get that, you
Buy
get
it.
the large drink, and you go to class or whatever.
Facts. McDonald's the best regular French fry according to Tillis.com
Hmm.
or Thrillist. I'm sorry, I'm messing
Delicious.
up. And number one, BJ, the aforementioned Arby's curly fries.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't know if I'd put their crinkle cut fries,
Yeah, I've never
but
heard a single thing about those.
yeah,
Arby's
okay.
curly
I
fries, they gas these
yeah
up pretty hard. Like when
yeah.
I've slandered Arby's, they're like, "Well, if you don't like all that other stuff, go get those curly
At
fries."
least the curly fries.
Right.
My question, Drew, and I don't know because I thought Jack in the Box was pretty nationwide. How do we compare Arby's to Jack in the Box curly fries? I think they're pretty comparable. I think I'd rather go to Jack in the Box if I'm going to get curly fries because I think there's more that you can actually stomach to eat there, if I'm being honest.
Well,
But
BJ, that was one of my biggest gripes
okay,
about this stinking list is that Jack in the Box's curly fries got so disrespected that they didn't make the top
at
20.
yeah, at all,
They
no
are
love.
so good. They're
Yeah,
good, yo, and
yeah,
consistently good. Yeah, McDonald's fries are great. They have to be fresh. Just, I mean, like most French fries, to be honest. But
yeah.
when they are fresh, they are elite and cannot be beat.
Hmm.
Exact. Jack in the Box curly fries are elite. And I didn't even want to talk about this list today, but I just wanted to show y'all how upset I was about them not making this
Yeah,
list.
that's
That's
insane.
it's ridiculous. And another one, BJ, a place that I talk about so much, and their burgers are more impressive than most people think they are. Their fries are too, and they didn't make this list. Do you know
You
what I'm
talking
talking
about
about?
Brahms?
I'm talking about
I
Brahms,
think it's
BJ.
because it's
What
only
is
I think it's localized in this part of the country. I don't think
that's
you see a whole lot of Brahms outside of the Southwest and in
I mean, but
Midwest.
Whataburger is here, like Whataburger is like
Uh,
just a Texas thing, yeah?
Not really. No, it's expanding. I think
I
I
mean,
saw
it is now because
Alabama,
Patrick Mahomes has
Colorado,
got it in Kansas
Missouri.
City.
Chicago had one, I think. It's
Oh.
getting pretty. It's no longer Texas's best kept secret.
Well, darn it, the fries. They're too regional. I get it, but
Yeah,
Jack in the Box is somebody. Somebody needs to have them go test more fries than this.
yeah, I
How
agree.
region? But think A&W is on this list though. I
Yeah,
gotta backtrack to some of these. A&W is on this list.
yeah.
That's my real comparison. Like A&W is on this list and Brahms isn't. It's
I,
okay.
I, I mean,
Whatever, man.
I, I,
Brahms
I would,
deserves to be. We know it.
yeah. Brahms is up there. I would say that I think Culver's is snubbed. It should be top 10. Whataburger definitely snubbed. I put Wendy's ahead of pretty much. I think I'd put Arby's down a little bit. I'd bring Chick-fil-A down, but still in the top 5. And I think I'd put it'd be either Wendy's or McDonald's 1 or 2 in my book.
And Cam says Whataburger's all across the South.
Yeah,
Well, fair enough. And it's
yeah.
also in Kansas City because I think Patrick Mahomes had one built up
If
there
it's
for
if
him.
it's not, it will be at some
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. And BJ, that's gonna round out Drew. What's on Drew's mind today? National
Man,
French Fry Day.
now you got me hungry, man. I wish we could like take a break and get some French fries or something in here.
Man, man, coming on some good stuff. And that's gonna slide us into another topic talking about the WNBA BJ
Mm-hmm.
All-Star Weekend this weekend. How
All
about it?
Star Weekend. Yeah. What a performance from Team Wilson to get the victory. And I don't know if I saw this mentioned, Drew. Was this the highest point total by a winning team in W All Star history?
I think
I
so,
didn't
or at
see.
least
Yeah,
in a
I didn't see
while.
anything about it because I went back and looked. I didn't see anything higher. 134 for Team Wilson to 112 over Team Stewie.
Oh,
Uh,
and before I forget, before we dig into our WNBA stuff,
mhm.
if you made it this far into the episode, congratulations! You deserve to hear this news. Um, we've got a discount code for you coming up for T Public for when this episode releases for you guys. So if you're listening right now, you get it tomorrow and Friday. If you're listening on the podcast release, you get it just today.
For the rest of the
So
day.
if you go into T Public, or go on to the Lowdown's Twitter, go to our link tree, and go click on merch, go in there, get you some merch hooked up. Use code Lowdown in all caps at the end. Code Lowdown, ladies and gentlemen. You can get 30% off your purchase. 30%
Awesome.
off your purchase. And if you want to take advantage of something else that T Public's got going on right now, site wide free shipping on T Public
Awesome.
for the rest of the night. So make sure you check that out and take advantage. Get that Lowdown merch BJ's got wearing right there in his
I think I'm
t-shirt.
gonna have to get another shirt. My shirt's starting to
He's run
fade.
that one into the ground. He
I
has.
have.
He's
But you
running
can
into
get
the
a
ground.
better looking pillow. I'll tell
You can
you
get a
that.
nice, you can get a whole bunch of different things at
Absolutely.
T Public, guys. Make sure you use, and that's code Lowdown at T
Lowdown.
Public. Good for Thursday and Friday of this week only. So July 14th and 15th. Yeah.
Perfect.
All
All
right.
right.
Continuing into the WNBA stuff, BJ. Yeah, I believe
Okay.
it was. And there was a big margin. I believe after the third quarter, it didn't seem like Team Stewie
No.
was going to make it competitive to finish things off.
No. But it was a hot start for Jonquil Jones and Team
Oh,
Stewie, at least
scorching.
to it was, and that's what it looked like. She was, what was it, 14 first quarter points, Drew, and she was setting herself up to be the All Star Game MVP if they
Yeah.
kept that pace up, and
Yes.
then just the turnaround by Team Wilson.
Yeah, John Quell had a double double, and I believe that is the most. I believe because I shared this when it happened on the account. But I believe that was the most in All Star game history. I think that was her third double double in an All Star game. So that's the most in All Star game
Okay,
history she's got there.
gotcha.
But yeah, she was going crazy. If they had won, she'd have definitely been the All Star game MVP.
Yeah,
Um,
but instead, because she led all scorers with, I believe this is an All Star Game record, 30 points. Kelsey Plum is the All Star Game MVP, Drew.
Man, I was gonna troll and like hold what I thought was the. I'll pretend this is the All Star
Oh
Game
gosh.
MVP
Oh my
trophy.
goodness. We saw. I think I saw. What was it? The
Here you go,
$18
Kelsey.
somewhere on there.
Yes.
What was that, Drew? Is it $18? Was
I
they
don't
found
know.
it online for $18, and that was
Man,
the
it was smaller
MVP
than
trophy?
last year's little tea kettle. It's the best thing about it is the funny thing about it is that the Las Vegas Aces, if I can talk today, are the funniest team in the league, and they trolled and joked about this on Kelsey Plum's Instagram afterwards. And Teresa Plaisance, one of the funniest people in the league, miss her in Dallas. She was a big part of the trolling of it, and they had like a little Capri Sun pouch thingy that they were handing to Hamby, pretending it was Plum.
Oh
It's so funny.
no!
It was great, but it is
Oh man!
embarrassing, and people have been
Yeah,
clowning it all weekend, and like
yeah.
you still Cam is attacking me in the chat still. Um, but people were attacking it all weekend and just trolling the fact of the WNBA's All-Star Game trophy, especially when you look at it in comparison to what the NBA has now and what
Yeah,
Steph Curry was essentially holding up like a mini World Series trophy.
yeah. It's
A mini World
ridiculous.
Series trophy. That thing was pretty big.
Yeah,
But for the WNBA is to be like as small as like a little tea kettle pot, it's embarrassing. You couldn't even get like a nice fancy plaque that you could hang up on the wall or something.
yeah.
But you
I
got a
think
little
I think
little.
I got some. I think I got some high school awards, Drew, that are still hanging on the wall that are probably worth more, and they
Man,
paid more to have made than that trophy. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I think it was so funny.
That's
But
ridiculous.
some of the coolest highlights in that game, BJ, kicking
Hmm.
it off, the initial points that were scored,
Yeah,
a Sylvia Fowles 3-pointer,
yeah,
and it was butter. It was butter. Form.
yeah,
She caught it, stepped in it, perfect feet set, form,
yeah.
beautiful swish, bang. It was
Bang.
like, why do you not shoot? The way it was just perfectly in rhythm, and just like she does this every day. That's how pure it looked.
Yeah.
And I think this Lynx PR or somebody said that Sylvia Fowles had only shot, made, and attempted one 3-pointer in her entire career, and that was the only other one. And so if she
Wow.
doesn't shoot anymore the rest of the season, she will be a 100%
Yeah.
3-point shooter.
In her
Oh man,
career, man.
she looks like she needs to shoot it every game. That was so
Yeah.
pure, and it was beautiful. It was a
Yeah.
great first play. I mean, it was beautiful.
I
It
think I think you get it completely overshadowed with what she did later on, though, Drew.
Man, and well, I don't know about completely overshadowed. You kind of decide what you want to pick is better.
Yeah.
The beautiful 3-pointer that you never get from Seal, and it was so pure and just like wow, that was
Yeah.
wet.
Yeah.
And then the dunk that came later in her final season, and it was
Yeah.
looked easy.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it
I
was
know that I
awesome,
think the
man.
dunk definitely got more clicks from what I saw on
Oh, for
social
sure, because
media.
like that was it was reported or still said I think to Holly Rowe during the All-Star game that was her first dunk. Well, I'll get to this other part later. That was her first dunk since 2008. It had
Whew.
been 14 years.
Wow. Drew, I think it's been 14 years since my last dunk too, actually.
Oh, buddy, it's been about 8 years since mine. Oh
Yeah.
wait, 9. I take it back. 9 years. It's been a while. Getting old.
Oh
Haven't
my
tried
goodness.
since. It hurts sometimes.
Know.
But no, I
I
mean
banged
to
my head
to
on the rim last
to be able
time.
to get up so easy, just the joy from everybody on the court. I know the fans loved it, everything.
Yeah.
It was a fun filled All-Star game to watch. I liked it.
Absolutely.
So that's all the positive stuff from All-Star
Well, did you want
from
to
the
you want to talk
All-Star
about
game.
some of the other events real quick because the
Yeah, this
so we
go
get a
ahead.
couple
We'll,
more
we'll stay
positive
we'll
things.
stay positive for a
Yeah,
second.
let's
Then
stay positive for a little bit longer. Sabrina, obviously, and Zoe Brooks of Elite Youth Basketball League, they both were the
skills
victors.
challenge.
Yeah, in the skills challenge, and of course, we got to make note, as you mentioned. I think she was your pick last week, Drew. Allie Quigley winning the 3-point contest again, the first player to ever win it 4 times in WNBA history. So
BJ, and
obviously, some good stuff going on with one of, if not the best 3-point shooters of
the
all time.
craziest thing about not just that she's won it 4 times, and I think that's huge, but
Yeah.
at least the 2 times that I can remember in recent memory, this year and the last time we had one, and she was competing, she won the last one. She doesn't miss on her money ball rack
No,
at all.
no.
Like she can be doing awful in the first three. I think I might have seen, because I didn't see it in real time. I had to watch the playback, that she
Hmm.
had like 8 or 9 maybe by the time she got to her money ball rack, and she just
Yeah,
made them all. Just
yeah.
goes nuts on her money ball rack on that right wing three, and just
She knew all she needed at that point. That's why she
pow,
just saved it up,
dude.
and she knew she was going to be, spot on.
It's just insane that that is consistently never missed in the 3 point guard. Like I really
Yeah,
feel like she has never missed from her spot over there. Like I
yeah,
get players having a spot, being hot from somewhere, but just to think in the 3 point competition, in that heat of it, whether you're, Allie Quigley or you're, Clay Thompson or whatever, like it's still like to hit
never
them all
missed.
on a
Yeah,
rack all the time. Every
yeah,
year you hit this same rack, you clean it.
yeah.
It's kind of wild. So I mean, like if she could do that all the time like that, golly,
Before we
don't
get to the
retire.
negatives,
Play next year.
what'd you think of the 4 point shot?
That's disgusting. No, throw it away. They tried to do that big three stuff and add a
Yeah,
4 pointer. I was not with it. They were having to they launch their whole little bodies to get it up there. We saw a lot of air balls. I mean, if you look at
yeah.
the field goal, if they would have put it on the box score, how many were made versus how many were missed, it was atrocious. I
Yeah.
mean,
It was what, 6 feet back from the 3 point line?
I don't. It wasn't really that far. I feel like
I thought I
a
saw like
good.
34 feet
That's
distance.
nah. It's a lot closer than you think. They sent me a PDF of the map, and it's not really that far. It's like really a traditional Steph Curry 3 pointer.
Okay.
Really. So
So
like
is it like an NBA three then essentially, or
a little back
okay?
probably. I
All
don't. I
right.
don't. I don't know, but it's really not that far from their traditional three.
Gotcha. I
At
thought I
least
saw
from
it
what
was
the
like
map
six
showed
feet
me.
away or
But
something.
still, I mean, like it was not. It just didn't work out. I appreciate them
Yeah.
trying to do something else, figure
Trying to
something
do
new
something
in.
different.
They
Yeah.
also, added the wrinkle in the All-Star game where there were no free throws.
Yeah.
There's a specific rule, at the end. I think Candace got to shoot a free throw at the end, but for the most part, there's no free throws. I mean, just back and forth, straight up cardio.
Yeah.
Kalea Copper tweeting like, "Oh my goodness, no free throw game is literally straight cardio."
Yeah.
On the bench over there. I did love the fact of the players tweeting during the game. I liked that. When
Yeah.
Hamby was in the game, Kelsey would grab her phone and start tweeting from De'Erica's account. Asia would get a hold of it as well, and
Yeah.
that stuff is fun because they're. I mean, the aces in that whole group are just a funny squad.
Yeah.
Their personalities and that just group
Oh yeah.
camaraderie out there is just great.
They're
Um,
getting along so well right now.
yeah, so I mean, there's so many cool little bright spots, and the
Yeah.
fans. I'd have to double back and make sure of everything. They had some events that they had access to. I think everybody loved Friday,
Hmm.
and the things went on with that. But as we kind of shift into the negatives about the weekend,
Yeah.
things were limited for people during the week at All Star, and Cathy Engelbert in her press conference tried to kind of make excuses
Hmm.
for what had been going on. For instance, the Chance the Rapper concert, fans did not have access to it. And Cathy tried to cite, the incidences that have been going on lately, shootings and whatnot. She said,
Yeah.
in addition to the lack of Wintrust arena availability that went on, which we'll get to that, Engelbert cited COVID and security concerns for
Hmm.
how things went down with all that.
Yeah.
Said, quote, there's also a lot going on around security and even having an outdoor festival at this very crazy time. As you see shootings and people driving into restaurants with outdoor diners and things like that, Engelbert said, calling together everything that's going on, coming off 2 tough COVID years and not having Wintrust available yesterday. It just wasn't possible to have a fan event. We didn't have an arena to have it in here in the city of Chicago, but understand the fans are frustrated not attending that. But again, last year we didn't have it. The year before we didn't even have All Star game. So we're kind of just trying to build what All Star weekend will look like. Um, Piss poor answer.
Yeah.
Um, and fans, as I listen, I haven't finished this podcast yet, but 6 podcasts of the year. Shout out to my podcasters at WNBA Lead. We're discussing one of them on the podcast, Robococo, Becky. mentioning that fans, there were some other things to do in Chicago, like there were events around the town that were happening open to the public, and things like that. So they very well could have had things open to the fans. And
Yeah.
I believe practice availability during the week, players weren't allowed to that, or not players, fans weren't allowed into that either. And that's what I was alluding to in the lack of Wintrust availability. All Star Saturday was not held at Wintrust Arena because it was already booked. Instead, the league held the event at McCormick Place, a giant convention center next door. The Sky's floor was brought in, and temporary bleachers were set up around the court, but the setting made things seem immaturish. In
Yeah.
addition, there were no fans allowed. Family members, media, and youth players from Nike Nationals events were the only people allowed inside. There was a small indoor space where fans could gather and watch on a big screen, but the lack of access was understandably frustrating to the fans that had made the journey to Chicago.
Yeah.
So, and the consensus of what I've gathered from Chicagoans and from more people I've heard about this, BJ, is that if you didn't live in Chicago, journeying up to All Star Weekend for the most part wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of disappointing to hear, and especially would have been
It,
unfortunate for me
it,
had I got to go, but I would have
yeah.
had some media access. But for the fans that travel in from all over to have an all-star weekend like that and then have access so very limited to you is unfortunate.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, this nothing like this was anything that we saw on the NBA side in earlier this year, and to say that like COVID or you know outside extenuating circumstances being in Chicago had something to do with it seems like a cop out to me. I mean, she mentioned the emergence of Omicron or whatever, and they kind of re-evaluated where they were in planning, trying to keep people safe. I think it's a bunch of malarkey, honestly, because
Yeah.
like we saw with NBA earlier this year when it actually we were just coming off the Omicron and it was more of a concern that things might not be open to the fans or the public, at the NBA All-Star game, and that didn't happen. So now here we are, what, 5 months later, Drew, at least, or maybe a little bit less so. Uh, it was to me it just seems like the cop out to say we can't have this open to the fans because oh, it's the a super spreader or anything. At this point, if you can have it in other sports, why are we not allowing more access to the fans? And so I think that that's something that should be addressed for sure as we go forward for the playoffs and in the next year's All-Star game. Why does it why did we have an All-Star weekend that didn't feel like an All-Star weekend, Drew? I mean, anything off the court, it really didn't feel like All-Star weekend like it should be hyped up and built up to be. It just feels like a
Yeah.
weekend off essentially.
Yeah, and people have been saying this throughout the course of the weekend and early parts of Monday and Tuesday here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, early part of
Mm-hmm.
this week. Just that, Kathy's comments kind of ruined, the brightness of, the
Yeah.
bright spots of All Star Weekend. Shout
Well,
out to the All Star game happening after Kathy's comments, because if we would have
yeah.
ended on Kathy's comments,
Yeah.
that would have been a
Well,
disgusting note
I,
to end on.
I was gonna say, we when we get these All Star games, it seems like it's always a moment that the commissioner of any sport talks about. Why do we need that? Why do we need to give them a platform or another, outlet for voicing or whatever? This if this is a time to be celebrated, then don't try to bring the party down, Kathy. You know?
Well, I don't know if she's necessarily. It's like the intention when they go up there. It's just the WNBA is not getting anything done. So every time she comes up, it's always everybody's gunning at her. To because
Yeah.
we got a lot to fix.
Yeah.
And not a whole lot is getting done as frequently as it should be. When it comes to more things a part of Kathy's, comments in the press of this weekend. Some of the things that stood out to me, and I was going to ask a question about this, but I got taken in the room. Um, Kathy's talking about expanding the
Mm-hmm.
league's games to 40, so
Yeah. Next
another
year.
4 games.
Yeah.
there's already been complaints at the very least in the early parts of the season of players kind of being tired. I mean,
Yeah.
there's more games, quicker turnarounds. The series stuff has helped a little bit with the travel, but the travel still stinks too.
Yeah.
And just like if you have a late game and then turn around and like have these rare these noon games where like a kids day is going on. I mean,
Yeah.
like
Like
really
today.
really bad turnaround. And like the very quick example from last night where the Lynx and the Mercury went into double overtime, nearly triple
Mm-hmm.
overtime, what
Yeah.
seemed like it could have happened. And they got to play 3 games in the next 4 days.
Yeah.
So I mean, and you want to add 4 more games next year?
Well, that's the
My
thing, though, Drew. Is like, you know, why is it at times where a team can have 3 games in 4 days, but at other times they don't have a game for like 5 days? How are we building this schedule? It doesn't make any sense in that respect.
Yeah, and just I feel like she's gonna jump to for 2024. She's gonna want to be at 44 games already because she had this
Yeah.
window when they were talking about this plan that they wanted to do 36 to 44 games, and
Well,
she's
I,
already talking about next year being at 40 when we just got to 36.
Yeah, I think
So
44 it makes sense because that until expansion kicks in, that allows 4 games, two home, two away with everybody in the league. I think that is that makes the most amount of sense. Obviously, I don't know if
yeah,
that's what the players would want, but there's got to be a way to build the schedule better to
I get it.
accommodate that.
I get it down the road, but I think it's kind of too fast to go into try and throw yourself into 40 already, maybe,
Yeah.
unless you're certain that you're going to have 2 teams in 2024, and that's her hope, as another part of this conversation that they hope to have two, have a couple of more teams by 2024 at the latest 2025. But I feel like you should only be doing 40 games next year if it's a certainty. Those teams are coming the following year because Kathy is probably going to want to jump to that. Provided she's still in this role at that point in
Yeah.
this time because people have been calling for her job. Um, but yeah,
She
this is a
said she
record number
said
of
the
games this year, and they want to go 4 more next year.
Yeah, she said this year was a challenge because there's the FIBA World Cup on the back end. They had the Olympics last year, so they didn't want to go to 40 this year, apparently. But she did say, obviously, talking about at some point going up to 44.
Yep.
She said, when you're trying to grow the longest tenured women's professional sports league in the country, you need to play more games. You need to have more fan touch points. You need to have more ability to have more on media platforms, things like that, more storytelling, more rivalry building, and the more games you can play, the more you have to build on that. And so that is a good point. That does make sense. That is true, in at least in my opinion. That
Yeah.
you know, but I mean, obviously, are the players going to be, are they going to want to play that many games? Are they going to, is the conditioning going to allow them to make that jump from 32 last year to 40 in the span of 2 seasons?
Yeah. So I just don't. I don't know. I don't know, man. And there was the talks of expansion, so let's go ahead and slide into that.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a pretty spread out answer on it. I mean, it's a long quote, but just they're working hard on all the data from it. She said they had about 100 cities, no later than 25. They want 2 more teams and would love to have it by 24. But looking at that kind of timeline again, lots of cities interested. Philly was mentioned as one of
Mm-hmm.
the primary considerations.
Yeah.
I believe she had said like if you could go to like a top 15, Philly is in that. And I believe also she didn't
Yes.
say it in the presser, but the Bay Area has previously been mentioned as one of those more attractive cities to put a WNBA team in, but Philly is certainly in the immediate conversation, and I
I,
think that is definitely one of the two that is going to go down. I feel like
yeah.
almost we're going to get 2 brand new teams and not any old ones going back, but we'll just have to see. What
Yeah.
happens with all that. Expansion period is going to be good, but
Yes.
no, I'm not anticipating 2024 for sure. I would be pat myself on the back if I got it by the time I was going to turn 30.
She talked about she's
29
from
going
the
on 30.
Philadelphia area, so I think that's one of the big reasons why that's so high on her list, at least.
Well, Yeah, I mean, she's obviously going to be more for it because she's
It,
from
it
the area, but
yeah,
Philly was already a popular consideration
yes,
amongst,
yeah.
the
Yeah,
masses.
yeah. I'm not saying that it wasn't or anything like that.
Right.
I think there should be a team in Philadelphia. I think that's one of the biggest snubs. And I mean, if I had to pick two new, and you might be able to correct me on this. I think with we've seen how much Don Staley has done down at South Carolina. You could make Philadelphia and potentially Charlotte as two kind of new places to have teams come in here in the next couple
Well,
of years.
I don't
I
know
know they
about
haven't talked about Charlotte, I don't think, but
I don't know about bringing the Sting back or anything like that. People are more so clamoring to actually put it in South Carolina for a new team as
yeah,
opposed to North and,
okay.
getting back the
So
Sting
like
or in
Charleston, or I'm trying to think of what would be a big
Gamecock
city.
Nation.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say they're in Columbia, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I guess you
people are
could put
talking
it
about
in
that.
Columbia. Yeah,
But a lot of different options, but most people know where the main stuff is. Like
yeah,
possibly, Philly, Bay
hmm,
Area.
yeah,
If any team of the old ones is to be back first, you probably think Comets.
yeah.
Um,
Houston,
and people have talked a lot about Toronto, so that's those are
north
some
of
of
the
the ones
border.
that you're
Yeah,
thinking are your top ones to kind of be some of the first teams to kind of join the fray here.
yeah,
Continuing into it, she talked about charter flights for the WNBA finals and increased prize pool for
yeah,
playoffs. Player travel has been a major talking point over the last few years. Duh. All teams are currently required to fly coach due to the competitive balance rules. Some team owners are either not able to afford charter flights or not willing to pay the price. Prior to the season, New York Liberty were handed the biggest fine in league history, 500K, uh, for breaking those rules and flying private anyway last year. Or yeah, I don't know why it says
yeah,
2022. Seeking to improve the player experience, Engelbert announced that the league will be providing charter flights during the finals. Furthermore, the playoff prize pool will see a substantial increase. She goes into depth here. Quote, for the WNBA finals, we're going to provide charter flights to our players. So for all finals games, that will happen. Engelbert said, in the spirit of finding other ways to compensate our players, we're planning to increase the postseason bonus pools by almost 50% to $500,000. That would almost double the bonus for each player who wins the championship. So we're just trying to chip away and find ways for the players and to lift them and pay them more.
yeah.
I mean, I'm down with that.
I'm absolutely. I mean, I think we've talked about it plenty of times here, Drew, that we need something to be figured out with the charter flight situation, so they don't have to fly commercial. And I mean, and if there's more pay to be found, if we can help to continue to get this game growing and get more revenue involved. We talked about how much NBA revenue was bringing in earlier. We're not seeing that in the WNBA just yet, but if we can get more and more and start chipping away at that, then I think that will very beneficial to the players.
Yes, indeed. And lastly, what I want to go ahead and hit, new TV deal, a focal point for Cathy Engelbert, the TV deal that expires with ESPN in 2025. Cathy said it's her top business priority. Said, quote, we need to find the right package more broadly for the WNBA. Engelbert said, we need to make it easier for fans to watch our games, to know where our games are. Duh. But
Yes.
I mean, we still got problems with these things, Kathy. And I wish I'd have gotten if we got more Zoom questions asked. Only 3 got asked, surprisingly,
Yeah.
but there was a lot in the room. But League Pass, still has its grievances. People still have problems with League Pass, and
Yeah.
there were some additions to it, and they put it on Fire Stick and things like that. But
Yeah.
still left out the Roku TV, which is extremely popular. How do you not
Yes.
put a Roku channel on there for people to
Yeah.
use it like that? So they still have things to add and make available in terms of League Pass. It's for the most part a lot of games. Some games have been more watchable on League Pass than they have been in the past. Less blackout for me at least. People are
Yeah.
still dealing with the blackout issues. Um, I I don't see a lot of improvement enough in this version of League Pass right now to uh, you know compensate for the price increase that it had. But
Yeah. But if you
whatever. Hopefully
you
we'll
know
get
if
something.
I think I saw something earlier today, Drew. If you haven't gotten League Pass yet, it is on sale for the rest of the season. The playoff push for like $15, I think,
Yeah, $15, and
and I think
that
that's
doesn't.
well worth the investment.
Yeah, so go ahead and cash into League Pass and get the rest of that. Get that for the rest of the season there.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's the most of it there.
So the
Had
state of
some.
the game.
Yeah. So we're kind of pressed on time. So just want to add that Candace Parker had a phenomenal game last night.
Yeah.
A 30 piece against the Atlanta Dream, and BJ. I don't know about you, but I think she's in the MVP race this year. And a lot of people have been controversial about that the last few days, or whether she's in. People thought that whether or not she was before the All-Star break. Seems like she might have cemented that after that performance. And Candace Parker, the ageless wonder right now, playing
Yeah.
some great basketball, and
Yeah. I've
had
got
some.
her. I think I've got her third still. We talked about it. I mean, it's been tough with Asian and Stewie, as good as they've been. I think it's if anybody can chip into that, huge climb that it's going to take to knock one of those two out of the lead for it, it would be Candace Parker, CP3.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a tough MVP vote regardless. Because I mean, I
Yeah.
was running some polls, and the masses that voted on the poll voted Asia for the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, BJ.
Yeah.
So the fan vote is gonna have a big part in this voting, and they
Yeah.
might be steering the direction of Asia, even though it seems like Brianna clearly
Has
having
the
a
best
better defensive year at
numbers.
the very
Yeah.
least
Yeah.
defensively,
Better
and
numbers.
carrying the Storm right now to a top
Yeah.
team in the
Yeah.
league, catching up to the Las Vegas Aces.
Yep.
So lots to deal with as far as the MVP race, but we'll probably dive into that more next week with Mark. And oh wow, I'm gonna delete
Yeah.
that.
I was about to say you haven't given that away yet.
Oops! If you made it this far in the episode, you just found out the first name of the person that's going to be joining us. I didn't give away what he does or where he's from, so you don't know
No.
anything else. You just know his first name. Um, and had some great WNBA games yesterday. BJ
Yeah.
OT
That
game
double
links,
OT.
yeah, double
Hmm.
OT links and Mercury, pretty great game. Skylar
Cunningham
Diggins Smith,
was.
big time. Cunningham
Yeah.
forced
Mm,
both of those overtimes
yeah.
with a three,
She
and
was on it.
Ariel Powers had a career high in scoring and rebounding, going absolutely crazy. Shout out AP.
Lynx are hot right now, man. I
They
mean, they can
are, and
if they can
they're
win 2 out of the 3 this weekend, they're right there in the playoffs after
that
as bad a
six
start
to
that they got off to.
that 6 to about 11 range. They're all within about 2 games of
Yeah.
each other, two and a half
Basically,
games.
if you're below Washington, it's still anybody's guess. Outside of, obviously poor Indiana.
Yeah, and the Lynx are indeed rolling. And guess who plays them next, BJ?
The Dallas
Alice Wings,
Wings.
who are not rolling.
Yeah, let's hope they get it figured out. But we've been very pessimistic here, and
Yeah,
they've got to win over the Sun. And it's like,
yeah.
okay, every time we're pessimistic, good things kind of happen, maybe. So
Can't be
I
too
don't know.
nice to them.
No,
Can't be too nice. All right, since we are now officially on the longest episode of season two,
hey, we
it's
got to get a little bit more of me because I won't be here next week.
yeah, get as much BJ as you can. No BJ next week. Guest host on the horizon. You know his first name, so I'll just say Mark. If you can figure out the rest, then shouts
Good
out
on
to you.
you.
Good on you. All right, we're going next into With It or Quit It. This
All
is
right.
the hot game on the Lowdown, where I ask either our guest or my opposing co-host, Mr. BJ, 5 questions, and I've got them lined up for BJ today, and we're
All
gonna go
right.
through them. And one of them I mentioned earlier. We'll see if you can catch one. Didn't mean to do it, but here it
Ooh.
is. All right, number one, BJ. In general, being cold is better than being hot. With it or quit it.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about this as it's gotten hotter and hotter over the summer somehow. But yeah, I'm with it. I mean, you can always add more layers of clothing to get
Yep.
yourself warm. I mean, I tried so hard to peel away this skin to cool down, it didn't work. I mean,
Yee.
it's that bad. I mean,
Mm.
we're last I saw it, we're at 8 o'clock here Texas time as we're in at this point in the recording, and I thought it was still over 100 degrees. There's no reason for this. It's ridiculous.
It's 98 right now by my
Okay,
calculations, but it's still hot.
mine said 101, so I'm I mean,
It's
I don't
hotter
know.
where you are, then I guess. All right, number
Yeah.
2. BJ, you hear me talk about ice cream a lot. They've been in these with it or quit it before. Ice
Yeah.
cream greater than or better than snow cones. I don't know if I've done this before, but I feel like I might have. With it
Uh,
or quit it.
might have. I don't know. Um, I don't know. See, I like frozen ice, and I like the Bahama Bucks and whatnot. You go to,
Mhm.
frozen ice stand or whatnot, but generally the taste of ice cream, I'm gonna say with it. I just found a low calorie substitute ice cream, like fudge pop the other day at the store, helping I'm watching what I eat and everything like that, and
Ooh,
so
B.
it still tastes pretty good, like authentic ice cream. It's not Bluebell, but it's serviceable for the time being until I get down to the weight that I kind of want to be and not balloon back up. So
BJ, you're 2 for 2 so far. Could we have a five
yeah.
for five on with it or quit it for BJ today for the first time? We'll see. We got
Thought I did
3
it
more.
before. I
No,
don't know,
I did it.
maybe
I did it.
you've done
I
the
was
with it.
I was the
Okay.
only one who had all the with it's one
All
time.
right. Wow.
Number 3,
Okay.
WNBA expansion will bring back at least one old team.
Just
With it
one
or
or
quit it. Yeah,
or do
just one.
and
At least one old team
what's the time frame? I mean, let's
in the expansion that Kathy was talking about by
okay. So
2025.
by 2025. Oh, hmm. I don't know how fast they're going to be able to get. I mean, I don't know if they're going to stop at two and it's going to be both new, or if they're going to try to do one old, one new, or if they're going to try to do two old, or what the case is going to be. I'm going to say quit it and hope I'm wrong. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go 5 for 5 with it.
What? Why you're always negative? Why couldn't you just be like, well,
I'm
I think they're gonna
I'm not
be they're
saying
gonna
that they're
do.
not going to at some point. I just think if by 2025, I don't know if they'll bring back the Comets in 3 years. I'm
Opting out
hoping.
is not an answer, BJ.
You
Golly, that's
you
like
you
saying
you
fair to an answer. Like,
you
huh,
get
that's
you
fair. Like,
you gave me the
ah,
parameters. You gave me the parameters by 2025, and I'm saying I don't think it will, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. That's why I said quit it.
man, but you never
And I
just
hope it's the
go with
Comets.
it. You
I
be
hope
like,
it's the Comets.
and you're never just like, I could be wrong, but I'm going with it anyway. You always go the other way. Darn you.
That's just who I am, I
Uh,
guess. Maybe I don't know.
whatever, whatever, BJ. Fine. Number 4. All right. French fries are better than tater tots. Are you with it or are you gonna quit it?
With it. Yeah, I mean, I've never been a big tot guy. It depends on what the tots are going with.
Man, ruined his streak.
Uh, anyway, it just depends on like what kind of food you're having as to whether or not you want to have fries or tots. But if I had the choice, like if we're going to Sonic, I think I'd go tots there, but fries everywhere else.
See, Cam, this is what I was hoping BJ would ride with. I think they'll bring
I
back the
I
Comets, one of the
when
more successful WNBA teams.
I think they will bring back the comments. I don't think it'll happen by 2025. I'm hoping that I'm wrong and it does happen. But if you'd said by like 2027, 2028, absolutely with it.
That's a lot of time.
I
So
know. That's why I'm
yeah,
saying
that's
like
you play it too safe. Darn
how
you.
how
I don't
much
like it.
like let's think about how much time you need to get all that put back together. I think it would take a little bit more than just a
You know what,
3 year window to get them back.
BJ? I hope they bring back 2 old teams just so you're wrong. Yeah.
I didn't say I was wrong. I said that is a
No, I said
possibility.
so. I hope you're wrong. So
I
that you
hope they
can't.
bring back the comments. And if they don't, that's the only way I'd be wrong there.
Number 5. The Texas Rangers. Man, we love our Texas
We
Rangers.
sure do.
But I need to know, BJ, if you think the Texas Rangers will get over 500 by my birthday, August 21st.
Ooh, hmm.
They've got a month and 8 days to get over 500. That's a lot of baseball,
There's a lot of
actually.
baseball, Drew. That is a lot
With it
of baseball.
or quit it?
I don't know the schedule offhand, but I know that generality, if they're going to get above a certain win count number that I had said in the preseason, like above, I think 72,
Would you
73
like to
wins.
know how many games happened before my birthday?
How many games happened before your birthday?
Okay. We're gonna. Oh wait, no, they don't show them all. They only show the next like series. Dang it.
I can look. I can look. I can
Oh
look.
wait, no. Second half. So
Yeah.
there's like four more games. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 34. 34 baseball
34.
games
And they're 5 games
and
under 500 right now.
34 baseball games and let's see how many series is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 full series.
Yeah. So they've got some winnable games coming up. They need to keep winning games against the A's. That will help. They don't need to get swept by the Orioles again. I think they caught them at the wrong time. They've got a series with Chicago and Houston in there. They've got a couple series with the Mariners. And you said August 27th is your birthday?
August 21st, and they are
August
currently 5
21st.
games under 500.
Yeah, I think if they can stack up as many wins as they can get against A's and some of the other bottom teams, they can do it. So I'm going to say with it, I think they sure. I don't know, but I'm going to say that they will. So I'm being positive, Drew. I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm hoping that's not the case.
BJ,
There,
it's
you want me to
too
answer it
no
that way?
no, it's too late. I wanted better for you. I wanted you to have your first 5 peat of with it's, but you played it safe on the third question and you got 4 out of 5
You
instead.
you
You
got
didn't
you got.
join the exclusive crew of the 5 with it's in one
Isn't that
game.
going to make it even more special when it does happen, Drew?
No, because I
You've
wanted
got
it to be
another
today.
opportunity. Wait, I've got another opportunity to join the club in 2 weeks.
But it's 2 weeks from now.
I know
The
you're gonna
questions
miss
will be
me.
harder.
I know, but
And you
it's
probably
okay.
won't be with. This was a real. I'm done. This was a real chance. That's all right. That's with it or quit it though, BJ. And that is
That's the way it
the
goes.
end of a Zay episode. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your support hanging out throughout the entirety of the episode. Shout out to Mr. Cam hanging out with us in the chat and playing with it or quit it with us as well. As always, our brother, make sure you guys give us a follow on social media. We're on that Twitter, we're on that Instagram. Give us a
Yeah,
follow over on there, and we now have a link tree as well, so you can get to everything uh, regarding
one
the
link.
lowdown right there in our Twitch or in our Twitter and our Instagram bios. There, we've got a link to where you can check out wherever our podcast is. Any
Mm,
platform you listen on, or if you want to watch on YouTube, it's got a link to it as well there. So if you're a podcast listener who wants to watch us live, you know where to find us now.
yeah.
Just make sure you follow us on social media. And also, if you made it to the end of this episode, shouts out to you. We're going to go ahead and give you a little bit of news here that the Lowdown is now partnered with Fanatics. That is
Woo!
right.
Yeah,
The Lowdown is now partnered with Fanatics.
that
We will
merch
have
gonna come in handy, man.
yeah, we will have some links out for you guys if you are trying to get jerseys of your favorite players. Cam, fan of the Diamondbacks, man, go get that
Yeah,
MLB Diamondback jersey and
he's
support your boys at the
gonna
Lowdown.
go get
Yes,
him a
sir.
Randy Johnson one there.
Yes, go get that. And hey, Dallas fans, get you that CD Lamb jersey out there. $100 free shipping. I mean, come on now, cash it
Cowboys
in.
season gonna be
Nike
here
CD
before you
Lamb
know it.
jersey. I mean, get after it, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, the Lowdown now partnered with Fanatics. So we'll be coming
Absolutely.
back next week. I'll be the one to read it since BJ will be out of town, but having a little read for you on a regular basis with some Fanatics. So you guys make sure you get your Fanatics merch, and that's where you get your WNBA jerseys and your merch, some of it anyway, as well. So if you're buying a jersey from your favorite player, you're buying your Enrique Agumbawale jersey, go to Fanatics,
There you
and
go.
we'll have a link out on social media here in a
All
bit.
that
So,
championship gear, the Warriors, the Avs, all that good stuff.
Cam in the chat, the news that the Lowdown is now partnered with the Fanatics. We love
That's
it.
perfect. We love it,
Yes,
Cam.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll put that link up on social for you. So if you're following us on Twitter, like I told you to, then you will see that when we tweet it out, and you can go get your Fanatics merch, get your jerseys from your favorite players right there through our exclusive link. But that's gonna be it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're following us on Twitch and subscribing to us over on YouTube to catch these live videos on Wednesday if you're a podcast listener. And guys, don't forget on T Public tonight, if you want to get some Lowdown merch, free shipping is going on. This is from our Wednesday listeners watching right now. Free shipping still going on through the rest of the night, and Thursday and Friday, if you happen to be listening live, 30% discount when you use code LOWDOWN. That is code LOWDOWN in all caps at checkout. 30% off at T Public. Get your Lowdown merch, get you a coffee mug, get you a pillow like BJ's got, get you one of these t-shirts, whatever you want to do. Just take advantage of that discount code that we got for you guys. If you podcast listeners, make sure you check that out as this comes out on Friday. You true listener, you check it out. You can know about this discount code too. Get you fitted up. We'd love to see you guys in some Lowdown merch. And if you've got some already, take your picture and tag us on Twitter or on Instagram. Feel free to do that. We'll definitely share it and amplify that support that you guys have for us. So we appreciate that very much. But like I said, that is going to be it for this episode. Long-winded, hour 45. Appreciate you guys for hanging in through the entirety of it. If you did, you got to hear the cool news today live. So we appreciate all of you. So
Absolutely.
we will see you. Well, I will see you next week. BJ's going on vacation, ladies and gentlemen. So he's going to enjoy his time. And me and our guest host next week, we're going to hold things down. So
I'll be back in episode 49, Drew.
yeah, BJ will probably be hanging out in the chat, so he'll be kicking it nonetheless. So we will be back next week with some more Lowdown Sports Show, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you guys